Mobilcamping, and today we've got Luke from Dometic. Welcome, Luke, to VanEssa.
Thanks, Mark.
And we get a lot of questions about how do I keep my fridge cold. So we've got a fantastic 35 litre Dometic fridge in our VanEssa Mobilcamping systems. We can plug it directly into the starting battery, but it is ideal if we can have an auxiliary battery. Sometimes they can be expensive and complicated to install, but Luke has got some new solutions for us from Dometic. So let's go take a look at how we can keep this fridge cold. So Luke, what have you brought for us today?
So basically we've got our brand new Dometic PLB 40 amp hour lithium battery pack here. Now the concept of this is it's designed to be as simple and easy to use as possible. So in essence it's basically a 7 kilo battery that's portable, but it's also perfectly adaptable to use as an auxiliary battery in the VanEssa system we've got here.
So in the past we have used a RAPS 44 amp hour lead acid battery, quite a heavy battery, 44 amp hours. Using the principle we can deplete only about 50%, gives it about 20 amps of running time, which at 3.5 amps draw roughly on the fridge. It's not a particularly long running time. This is 40 amp hours, so ostensibly not as much as the 44 lead acid, but this is lithium, isn't it?
Correct.
So if it's lithium, we can do more with lithium.
Correct.
Tell me about
the biggest difference is with lithium iron phosphate is we can use basically 100% of the capacity, which means the full 40 amp hours is usable power for it. In essence, it'll run a fridge for nearly twice as long as the iron system. So,
yeah. And we always get asked, how long will my fridge run for? Well, that's how long is a piece of string, in a sense, because what temperature is my fridge set to, how big is the battery, how hot is the day, is the vehicle in the sun like it is now, is the vehicle in the shade, lots and lots of factors. But as you say, in this configuration, the new PLB 40 can almost get double the run times basically than the old lead acid 44 amp. Correct. So this is a great improvement. The old lead acid 44 amp hour, we could plug it into the car, plug the fridge into that, and that was about it. That's what we had in that particular battery. This has got a lot of new features. Tell me about some of the new features.
So basically, obviously the performance improvements, but we've also made it a lot easier to use in a lot of different ways. So basically there's 3 different ways we can charge this. So as we've got it now,
turn it around,
we have just got the battery standing alone by itself.
So we're currently drawing down on the battery. It was at 100% when we turned it on. Let's have a look here on the camera here. We're now at 98%. So we have a look there. We can see power's leaving the battery. It's now at 98% and it's leaving it through the DC. So here, I've actually got my fridge or my VanEssa kitchen system, which includes the fridge and the sink, plugged into here. We also have, just in terms of ways we can get power out of here, it's a second socket here and some USBs on here as well. So that's the way we can draw power out. But usually what most people are concerned about is how do I get more power back into it? How do I get my power bank for my VanEssa system fully charged again? That's where it's really changed now, isn't it?
Correct. So on the back here, so you can see how we've done it. On this side is all our outlets, and on this side is all our inlets, so no confusion with what we're plugging in. So you can see here we have a much improved Anderson plug now, and this is our 12 volt input. Okay.
So in the original ways, Luke, we would have used this plug. So this is for my car. It's my 12 volt cigarette lighter socket for my car. And now the Anderson plug here to make a much better positive connection. So what I'd normally do in a vehicle, so I'd plug this in here, and I would plug this here into my 12 volt socket in my multivan. So I just literally plug that into there, so that when I drive my multivan or my transport or my car, my caddy, this is charging the battery. There are some caveats to that. It's a slow charging methodology with the existing vehicle wiring, so we can do some upgrades to that. We'll come to that in a minute. But that would be my traditional way of doing it. But what else can I do now, Luke? So I'll take this back out.
We also have a direct solar input now, which is also via the Anderson plug. So same concept, we can plug the solar panel straight in there.
Tell me a bit about the solar panel, Luke.
Okay, so this is our brand new PSB 150. So it's a 150 watt portable solar blanket, and it fits into this bag here. So it's only a 5 kilo package, which obviously saves weight and saves space. So we can put more things in the car.
That's a lot better than the old aluminium frame. You brought an aluminium frame out for us once, which is quite nice, set up the frame into the sun, but my goodness, that was heavy, all the glass and so on, and then where do I put it in my van? That was always an issue for me. So the portability of the blanket is a big bonus for a van format.
Correct, and for the size and the capacity, it is one of the smallest on the market. So the solar panel itself has a max output of 8.5 amps. So it's more than enough to keep up with running the fridge and running the sink and any other appliances you've got going on. The biggest difference with this panel here, and you can get some cheap and nasty ones out there, the biggest difference with this is that we're using certified C60 sun power cells. Now the biggest difference with that is that there's a lot more copper content in the panel itself. Okay, so more copper, better conduction, a lot more efficient compared to some cheaper panels. It also keeps it robust and rigid, and overall long lasting. Correct. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from that is you get what you pay for.
Correct. Yeah.
You always get what you pay for with that.
So as a package, we also supply with the extension leads as well. So the idea with that is that you can have it set up on the windscreen like we've got here, but ideally you'd want to have the car parked in the shade. And we've got 5 metres of cable here, so we can afford to have the solar panel out in the sun while the car's in the shade.
Now tell me, Luke, I get asked a lot about regulators, because this solar panel is putting out a voltage actually a bit too high for batteries. So we've got a 12-volt battery, but the panels tend to put out 18 volts. So I can't necessarily directly connect it to a battery, so that's where a regulator. Tell me a bit about the regulator.
Correct. So also supplied with the panel is a 15 amp PWM solar controller. Now what that basically does is ensures a safe charge to your battery. The current configuration we have here with the PLB40, we don't actually need the solar controller, and the reason for that is that particular battery actually has a built-in solar input. However, with the solar panel, as I said, we do supply the controller with it as well, so we are able to use that controller if we're going to be charging other batteries, which you might also get.
So for example, some of our customers have not yet necessarily added a second battery to their vehicle. They're running their VanEssa system off their battery that's under the bonnet, but with that nice solar controller, we could connect this solar panel to this battery under here with the controller regulating to our 12 to 14 volts range, and keep that battery topped up in this scenario in the sun with the fridge running.
Correct. So the solar controller will charge 6 different types of batteries, and in all applications it'll charge your cranking battery of your car.
Which is usually a wet cell battery, isn't it?
Correct.
So it'll do wet cell batteries, it'll do deep cycle AGM batteries, will it?
Lead acid, lithium obviously as well, all your main types of batteries that you would find in the touring camping market, I suppose.
So this could be pretty useful for single battery setups, such as in the car, take it onto my boat, or whatever other applications I have for a battery. This would work fine for that, but equally so back into our PLB40 over here. Now there's another way to keep this battery on top of things. So we've got the DC to DC charger built in with our 12-volt socket, got solar through the Anderson plug, but what happens if I'm at home, ready to go away, or at the caravan park?
So another improvement which we've made in this new battery compared to the old one is that we now have a 240 volt charger which is supplied with the unit. So the unit on the back does have a 240 volt input, so we can connect the 240 volt charger directly to the battery. So I'll just do that, so we can grab this here. So we're now at, I'll just check the battery here, we're now still at 98%, but we can see here at the moment, if you just have a quick look on the top there, we can see there's an arrow coming into the battery to say it's charging, and going out of the battery there to show that the fridge was drawing. So I'm just going to take this. Do I have to take this out? I can put this in at the same time. So that's now in, and I can grab the other end here. I brought the so to speak the caravan park or house power out, and that should be on, I hope. And we still have an input arrow there. We still have an input arrow showing that it is charging at the moment. So we can charge whilst we're driving, we can charge in the sun whilst we're free camping, and we can charge when we're at home or at the caravan park at a powered site. Finally, one last little product that's worth noting is this. This is separate to the PLB40, isn't it, Luke? Correct. Yeah. So basically, this is a heavy-duty wiring kit which we can supply as an accessory to go with your battery. Basically, it's an improvement over the factory wiring which you would find from your 12-volt socket connected to the car battery. Basically, we can also set this unit to isolate from the car battery, which means when you turn the vehicle off, your auxiliary battery won't be able to draw power from the cranking battery.
So that avoids the risk then of a flat cranking battery. So if I leave this plugged into my car starting battery, the cranking battery, leave the fridge running, leave it all connected and walk away for a few days, as this depletes, it will recharge from the starting battery.
Correct.
But with this in place, not only does it charge faster when I'm driving because the wiring is much thicker, It also isolates them when the ignition is turned off. The battery voltage at the front comes down and separates the two batteries, so there's no risk to not being able to start the car when I'm free camping, which is a good thing. So that's worthwhile there, $129 plus a bit of fitting time, or you can fit that yourself if you've got the skills, but that will really create a really perfect solution. And as I said, this is really light. You pop that behind the seat next to the kitchen and pull it out when required. It will work very well. Luke, thanks for coming in today.
No problem,
Thanks for
mate.
visiting
Thanks
and
for having
supporting VanEssa Mobile Camping, and we look forward to working with you again in the future. Thank you.
For having us.